WNST, Taos, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. We're positively in Parkville. It's all brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. Thankfully, I still have some 50th anniversary scratch-offs because I am running out of Raven scratch-offs. Had another winner here at the bar. Roz is going to send some relief for me for the holidays. We take the Maryland Crab Cake Tour on the road. We're at Pappas in Parkville. John Eisenberg is our guest. It's also brought to you by our friends at Window Nation, 866-90Nation. I don't have a Jiffy Lube trinket. But, what I should do is pull the sticker off the inside of my car and bring that in. When my little orange light goes on, I go to Jiffy Lube Multicare. You can do the same. There's one right around the corner here. We're at Taylor Avenue. We're in the heart of Parkville. I'm wearing my Warren Moon road jersey, the white roadie. Rocket Men has Warren Moon in the blue, as well as Patrick Mahomes. What? No Lamar on the cover? Wait. Come on, John. No Lamar on the cover.
Yeah, I know. It was not my call, believe me.
He's 2 Super Bowls away from being on the cover.
Right.
Exactly.
Is that it? Well, this guy, Moon, didn't win one. So
he's in the Hall of Fame now.
Yes, he is.
Or as Earl Weaver would say, the effing Hall of Fame.
Right, that's right. Well, Lamar, soon enough, maybe Volume 2. We'll see.
All right, so I put this up here like this, and maybe that way, because Cindy will be upset if I don't do it the right way. So there we go. I got Warren in there. There we go. All right, good. It's going to fall
Powder
over.
blue.
All right, couple things. First things first, Pappas Parkville. Steve's going to come on. I've got Christian Horton coming by to talk about my awful 83, 79, and 4. I'm 5-9 this week, 5-9 the week before. We're going to be at Hollywood Casino next Friday. We are going to have Tom Kelso out from the Maryland Stadium Authority. So I'm taking notes here like a good reporter. I got 4 colors for John Eisenberg. It was a mentor to me. It's covered all sorts of things. Got this great book out. You can check it out. But more than that, you're a little bit of a crab cake. I don't want to say a snob, but an aficionado for being, a Texas guy. You've been here 40 years. You told me you did a little tour, and I want you to tell that story because it's sort of related to why I'm doing the crab cake tour.
Yeah, well, so in the neighborhood where I live, unfortunately, one of a couple, the wife died, very sad and unfortunate, and so the other guys in the neighborhood, me included, said, well, let's take the husband out. We waited a few months, started taking him out every 6 weeks, 2 months, just to cheer him up some.
And it was a crab cake tour.
Crab cake tour. We said, let's go.
What makes people happier than a crab cake?
Yeah, let's go investigate.
Right.
So
right.
I won't say everywhere we went. Probably not your sponsor, so you don't work with them
fine.
or whatever.
It's fine. Go to all of them.
But Pappas here was one of them and showed up very well. And some other ones, Coco's down.
We're there next Wednesday.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, great place, and so tons of places, but Pappas in Parkville, nice big fat good crab cake. So
my wife knows this crab. She didn't eat crabs when we started, and this morning she's like, "Bring me a Pappas crab cake." I'm like, "All right," but if I'm at Costa, bring me a that's the thing, and they're all different. That's the thing about it. They're all really different, and they're all delicious, and you should come have all of them. I remember, and I reached to Dan Rodricks, I reached to Michael Olesker, I reached to Marty Bass. I haven't reached to Ron Matz. Maybe Ron would know. But I'm talking old school people. There was a story written in the paper or on Evening Magazine of a bunch of old guys, like Think and Going in Style, Art Carney, George Burns, that did this 40 years ago. In the 80s, late 70s, and
same places.
They were going around to all the Angelinas had a crab. So there were just great crab cakes in this town then, and there was a story written about them very publicly. And I remember seeing, I thought that's a great idea. Now you've had, so I'm not the only one with this. Let's go around and do crab cake thing.
Oh yeah, so it's a great way to go around here, no doubt about it.
I'm doing the crab cake tour next Thursday at Gertrude's at the BMA. Not to be confused with the Walters.
Nice
and Dan
spot.
Rodricks, I have not had their crab cake, and
I'm sure it's good.
A lot of people, when they consider a crab cake tour, they put Gertrude's on that list, and I feel remiss. John Shields knows I've been trying to get in. He has a vegan crab cake, and I've been trying to get Jamie Raskin, who's vegan, to maybe, and it hasn't happened, but I'll work on that. So next Thursday I'm at Gertrude's, and really the reason isn't just John Shields and the BMA and holidays. It's Dan. You saw Dan's show. You and I think we're talented guys. I mean, we write books and we're good at stuff and whatever. You've known Dan since you got off the boat. He got off the boat. You both were expatted from other places. You were imported to Baltimore, to the Sun, to tell the locals what the out-of-town guy, as Charlie Ekman would say, right?
Right.
You're an expert. You're from out of town, Dan ran up against that being a young columnist at a paper that was trying to hire young people, really talented writers. That thing Dan did last year was one of the greatest things I've ever seen.
Oh, no doubt about it.
And I'm taking 40 of my friends, sponsors, Dennis Colazzos, Leonard, we're all going to see the show together on December the 8th. I made it a night. I bought 40. Dan can't believe I'm buying 40. I'm like, Dan, relax. It's my holiday event for my people. He said, I can't believe you're bringing. I said, no, if you love Baltimore and you love, I have Baltimore Positive written right here, right? If you love Baltimore, that thing's like mandatory, man.
Oh, absolutely. He nailed it so much, and I told him that. And, you've been in town a long time when the guy writes a play like that, and I worked with Dan, of course, all those years. And I know the people who are in the play.
Right, Richardson.
Yeah, Kevin Richardson, Jim Bigwood, who definitely had a role in there. And so guys like that, he was for years out at MPT, was the sound guy. And is now doing the sound at Camden Yards.
Yeah.
So you feel like, well, this is
community theater.
It's your town, and but Dan did such a nice job. It was very emotional, I will say. It's
he made me cry. I told him that.
Very emotional thing. He just hit it out of the park, and I've already got tickets to see the second one.
The
one he's going to do one on the courts. And he's written it, and I've already bought tickets. I sure hope it is. So.
Valentine's Day, it's coming out. So Dan's going to be here next Thursday on the Crab Cake Tour. Gertrude's talking about that. Going to be at Coco's on Wednesday. Going to be at Hollywood Casino on Friday with Tom Kelso. I'm going to get to you with that with the MSA. The book is Rocket, man. Anything else you want to say as we segue into Lamar? Because, I want to do Lamar with you. And then I definitely want to do a little Stadium and a little Angelos and a little, looking at them, the looking glass. But this book and what –
Lamar is the last chapter. He is, regardless, win, lose, or draw. He's the last chapter in this book.
Okay, so tell me what you talk to other people about because you're there for Lamar. You've been sort of thrown out. I've been sort of thrown out to not be able to witness this from the inside, to be at his locker after every game, the way we were for Ray, the way you were for Cal, right? The way we were for Messina or for John Ogden or Ed Reed or, the Lamar thing, it's still very in play. And I remember they were saying this about Eli Manning and Peyton Manning until this isn't race. This is we paid you $52 million. Flacco's got a gig now, right? We pay you all this money, you have to win, right?
Sure.
And I think there's that, but there is also the style of play that's unlike anything anybody's ever seen or won with, or quite frankly, and I always bring this up with you, something nobody else has ever believed in. No, even last year when anybody could have had him, if they give up their Anthony Richardson, nobody wanted him.
Yeah. So things have changed in this story for black quarterbacks, even in the time that Lamar's been in the NFL. 2018, think about the stuff that he went through with a scout for the Chargers telling him, hey, I hope you run the 40 at the Combine because you'll be a good receiver. And he's like, I'm not doing that. And, so he's faced doubts. He's got a huge chip on his shoulder, even after signing this contract. And so
he needs to win.
He needs to win. He
does.
He needs to win. And he'll accept that. I think he's fine with that.
Yeah, that's why they gave him the money.
Yeah, so it's really not racial, although the style of play, it all sort of is a big glop of doubt. And maybe there's a tiny bit in there. About the, what
I don't think in your book you can portray that enough, right? That the theme of this is there's always this thing that you're a black quarterback, and that made it different. Even today, we're still talking about
It's
that.
in play with Lamar. There's no question about it. And, there's doubts on any quarterback that's paid $50 million and hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. So it's not racial per se, but
it won't be if he beats Justin Herbert this week because he got paid too, and they have that expectation.
Well, he's
in that
got
franchise.
the same thing.
Sure.
He's got the same thing. But when Lamar, there's
even Burrow and the injuries the last couple days, like he's been injured as much as Lamar's been injured, but they pick on Lamar more. Burrow's been in a Super Bowl, right? Hurts has been in a Super Bowl now, right? So they're Cam Newton went to a Super Bowl, right? So, we've got guys going to Super Bowls here. We've had black versus black. I don't know what point – we don't have to write a book other than a history book about it, right? But it is still relevant, right?
It's definitely still relevant. It is changing dramatically. When you see stories like – the one that really is getting me is this Josh Dobbs playing for the Vikings now, and the fact that a team traded for him in the middle of the season – I can tell you, I think on one hand you can count the number of times teams have traded for a black quarterback in the middle of a season and saying, you're our guy. It just hasn't happened. It just hasn't happened. What I'm saying is, like, not Lamar, not Mahomes, just sort of a guy, a run-of-the-mill quarterback. The black quarterback was missing from that equation. No longer. With Dobbs, he's changed teams a bunch. People want him, and he's playing. He's doing a good job with his opportunity, and it just shows you that color's really gone from that equation.
C.J. Stroud? Now?
C.J. Stroud is the second overall draft pick. What I'm saying is Dobbs is what, a fifth-round draft pick, is sort of just a guy, just a run-of-the-mill guy, or is perceived as such. That's the thing. He's perceived as such, and that is what has relegated all but the top-tier black quarterbacks forever, still, almost to this day. However, when you see the run-of-the-mill, long shot, Tom Brady-type guys starting to play and win who are black, that changes that. That shows you.
Kurt Warner.
Yeah. When you start.
Warren Moon. Right?
Yeah, because the black guys, believe me, they didn't get that opportunity that Kurt Warner got. They didn't get it. So now Josh Dobbs would be it.
Right.
So that's where you really see that color is gone from that equation, and that's just happening in 2023. So it's just happening now.
How you feel about Lamar right now? John Eisenberg's here. We're Pappas. If you're listening on radio, doing the Maryland Crab Cake Tour, and as we sit here, we're on the eve of Thanksgiving. As we're recording this, playing the Chargers. As we're recording this, Burrow's out. Sean Watson's out. You and I were making fun of Kenny Pickett before we started the film. Lamar's in a position here, especially with Kansas City losing to Philadelphia. Lamar's in a position here that this one seed by paving the road for an easier landing than anything Billick went through or anything Harbaugh and Flacco ever went through, winning on the road and having to go through New England and do all that. They have a chance here to make it easy on themselves.
Yeah, I mean, they had it, 4 years ago? They had the same thing and just coughed it up, the old hairball on the carpet floor. So, that would be a nice thing to have. There's no doubt. They play really well on the road. So, I don't know. They do need that. What we need to see is consistent play. We need to see these losses. We need to see these leads not coughed away. I like what I'm seeing from Lamar. I mean, he's certainly better passing the ball than he was. His mechanics, this new offensive coordinator, and I was a Greg Roman. I kind of like Greg Roman. I thought he brought a lot of good stuff to the table. But his passing mechanics appear to be better. The options he's got, the passing game is better. A lot more guys he can throw to. It's a pretty good situation for him. So I like what I'm seeing, but you just need to see week in and week out, fewer mistakes, more consistency. And doing it in January, there's no question about it. It has to happen for him to take, to reach the next level as a quarterback.
I like that they're not designing runs for him, and that they're trying Keaton Mitchell. They're trying to not make him a running back. And he's, always pissing in these post-game press. I'm not a running back. Well, you ran the ball 21 times in a game, so you're being used as a running back far more than he was being used as a quarterback, especially when they were playing the magnetic football game back in 2019 in the running game with Mike Ingham. He definitely throws the ball better. I'm worried about time. I'm worried about protection for him with the tackle situation moving forward. I'm also worried about they don't have that running back. They don't have that Mark Ingram. And we talked about the trading deadline whether it would have been a good idea to get Derrick Henry or something.
I don't see the need for that.
I thought if they had that sort of back, that would change things dramatically.
That would be great. The running game, I think, is fine. I really don't see problems with the running game. They make yardage and run. Derrick Henry would have been great. I just don't think you have to do that. I like what I see from the running. I like Gus, Mitchell. I like Justice Hill. I mean, I think the running game's pretty good. I don't really. And what are they ranked in the run in the NFL?
Well, it's only going to be as good as the tackles are at this point, and how that holds up.
Well,
that's important.
The thing to me, the smartest thing anyone ever told me about Lamar was when I interviewed Greg Roman for this book. Okay, and what he told me is Lamar, and he's a huge Lamar fan, and set him loose in 2019, just like he set Kaepernick loose in San Francisco as a young player. And he says it's time and space. Time and space with Lamar is the key to everything. If you give him a little room to operate and give him a little bit of time, he's gonna kill you. he's going to kill you. If the tackles aren't, and if it's rushed a little bit, and we've seen this over and over again here, I just always remember that when I watch the Ravens play. Is he getting time and a little bit of space to operate, he will carve you up.
I always look to see when he's got the ball, is he looking down the field or is he looking to run, right? I mean, and the looking to run part was something the first 3 years. It was an instant. When Willie Snead's your only guy, and Andrews is doubled, and J.J. Watt's or T.J. Watt or any Watt he's coming off the edge. His inclination was, I can beat this guy. I'm going to run. It didn't look that way anymore, and I think that's a real concession for him after getting paid, after doing it a certain way, to not look to run almost ever. And that, I see that when they're behind now, and they're not behind much, third, fourth quarter when they've struggled, that is still
it comes up. It comes up.
Well, I have tweeted 5 times in games that have been in dispute, 3 of them they lost. It's still their best play. Their best play is pretending they're going to throw and have Lamar run. That's their best play.
Right.
And when it's utilized, as a trick play, because you've been lulled into he's just a quarterback and he's not going to take off. He won't take. Not going to 10-point lead in the second quarter. He's probably not going to take off now, where 2 years ago he would. Right? I mean, literally.
It's changed. I mean, he is now a passer. But will he do it late in the game? I think you're right. Those instincts sort of take over, and it's interesting. I mean, he's evolved from those instincts. One of the most interesting things anyone told me for this book that I wrote was Ozzie. All right, was going back over why Lamar lasted until 32 in the first round. And this honestly surprised me a little bit because, there's a lot of revisionist history, people saying, why, Lamar should have gone a lot higher. Ozzie said in it, I don't have the quote right in front of me, but what he says was he was not very accurate. He was not very accurate as a passer coming out of Louisville, and everybody knew that. And so that is why his stock dropped. Everybody thinks they can make somebody more accurate, right? But he was not.
That would be Kyle Bowler. That would be for anyone. And I think when you sit out there and watch these guys do this at a world-class level every day, as Luke Jones does on our behalf, as you've done many times, these guys can throw the ball in a bucket from 40 yards away. They can make what they say all the throws, right? When you go to Indianapolis and you can't do that,
it shows.
That worries. Yeah, it shows when you're watching 20 other quarterbacks how accurate. It's like somebody at a gun range, right? Like how accurate you are. There's no hiding it. The eye in the sky does not lie, they say, right? And that would be through workouts, combines. But to me, the other issue that I would delve into with Lamar is you had to change everything. You had to draft different players, think differently, think in a different way, not be as fearful of him getting injured as you would want your quarterback to take contact. The Ravens still think about this differently, as we learned last year. I mean, the Deshaun Watson-Lamar comparison year to year, 2 years ago to 1 year ago, how many teams wanted him, what they were willing to do, and Lamar, that's still the case, right? And whether it's accuracy or not, I'm not ripping my system up, bringing in wide receivers, fortifying my running game, giving him $50 million, and worried about him running into a linebacker. I think that's what other people thought. There you go.
He's won one playoff game.
I did 6 months of Lamar-a-thons, all right? Yeah.
Yeah. So that's definitely part of it, and that's going to exist, and I understand that to some degree. It fuels the chip that's sitting on his shoulder. You think he's not taking names, It's like, who didn't want me? It's like, this is what you could have had. So that's how he operates. That is definitely he doesn't let on, but that is how he operates. So he's an interesting guy, interesting young man, and a sort of a unique guy. And there's a lot of things I like about him. He doesn't throw teammates under the bus. I mean, maybe Flacco taught him about that, because Flacco certainly never did. Was very much an adult after games, always. Even if there were teammates who deserved to be thrown under the bus, Flacco wouldn't throw them under the bus after a game. Lamar, you don't see him doing that ever. He's a good leader. His teammates like him. And so I don't know, but yeah, he's a very, very public guy, but yet he's very private. He's an interesting dude. And
yes.
And he is so, but you know.
But you got to win a Super Bowl to
you
get on the cover.
You got to win a Super Bowl to get on the cover.
Yeah,
There's
you do.
No doubt.
Absolutely. Warren Moon's on the cover. He's in the Hall of Fame. So is Patrick Mahomes. The book is Rocket Men, the Black Quarterbacks Who Revolutionized Pro Football. John Eisenberg, my friend, my mentor, longtime Baltimore Sun columnist. And now, so what's the next book?
Don't have one.
He's lying. You got something. Come on now.
No, nothing yet. We'll see.
Do you have a seed of an idea?
I have a little bit of a seed.
Do you think you know what your next book's going to be?
No.
Oh.
I have some seeds that haven't been planted. I'll put it this way. They're, in the little jar. The seeds. No, I haven't. I
keep saying this memoir thing, John.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
You've witnessed a lot. It's time to tell these stories.
Listen, my next book might be a novel that 4 people read. We'll see. I don't know.
Well, Coward's writing. I see he's got a new book out,
He
right?
does?
All of you alum types,
Yeah, might do that.
Chasing Laura Lippman, right? Right?
Yeah, might do that. We'll see. This was, as they say, a heavy lift. 3 years, lots of research, and
you write books differently than I do, John.
Yeah, so I'm going to do something different. I can tell you that it will not be a research-intensive 100-year canvas. It will not be that.
Do you get Jack Torrancy? Do you get chippy when you write? What would your wife say?
No, I think she would say no, not too bad. I mean, it's sort of relentless. It's like, when's it going to be over? I think more than anything.
When are you having the baby?
Yeah. I think more than anything. But no. I've always been able. Listen, I did this on the side for many years when I was working at other places, so I was able to compartmentalize it relatively well. I look back on it, and how I wrote books on the side. I don't know. I'm not doing that again.
I got an autographed copy too. So I want to take a break. I'm going to come back. Steve Papp is going to join us. I want to talk about the stadium and the Orioles, just in general, because you were chasing Herb Belgrad around. We're trying to get a stadium and a stadium authority, trying to get one building built, the second building built. Larry Lucchino, nobody knows more about that than you. So John Eisenberg's here. We're at Pappas. It's all brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. I still have some 50th anniversary scratch-offs I'm giving away. I'm out of Raven scratch. I actually have a handful. I got like 5 Raven scratch-offs. I should be holding these up. Raven scratch-offs for John Eisenberg. Our friends at Window Nation, 866-90Nation, making it possible. They also do doors, so I'm going to talk about that a little bit as well. Leonard Raskin and Raskin Global, and our friends at Jiffy Lube Multi-Care. We're going to come back, do one more segment with John Eisenberg. I'm going to get that chicken Milanese. God, it was good. We got turkey, leftover turkey. I'll be at turkey next week. We're doing the show at Coco's on Wednesday, at Gertrude's on Thursday, and then we'll be up at Hollywood Casino on Friday at State Fair on the 5th. Far and Daughter on December 15th. We're coming to Wise Markets up in Perry Hall before the holidays, and then we're going to be back at Fadley's to end the year. I like this crab mallet from Leonard because I feel like Judge Judy, Judge Wapner. Back for more from Pappas and Parkville right after this on the Maryland Crab Cake Tour.